What's going on, guys? There are a ton of spoiler-filled reviews out there right now of Terminator Dark Fate, so you probably already have a good sense of exactly what's going on. But if you don't want to know the particular plot details of Terminator Dark Fate, then do not continue watching this video. You can go ahead and shut it down right now, and because this is going to be full-on spoilers, but it's not going to be a review. It is going to be a look at some of the things that I thought went horribly wrong with Terminator Dark Fate. Now, if you watch this video and you like it, please go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the video and hit that notification bell so that we can get in there and hopefully we can grow this channel, which would be fantastic. Now, when it comes to Terminator Dark Fate, there are a bunch of things that I think that this movie gets wrong, but there were some things that immediately just kind of jumped out at me and really made me think to myself, what were they thinking? So, one of the things that I want to say right off Jump Street is that John Connor's death in the beginning of the movie makes no sense. And it doesn't make sense for a couple of reasons. The first reason is very simple. If Judgment Day never happens, if they are able to defeat Skynet from the very beginning, then this guy doesn't come back. Okay? That guy doesn't come back. Nobody comes back. John Connor does not exist because Kyle Reese would not exist at that point. Nobody would exist. It would just stop. So that's the crazy thing about when you looked at Terminator 2 and Terminator. This whole idea, well, in the first Terminator, they weren't really stopping there to stop Skynet. They knew that that was going to happen. What they were doing was trying to stop Skynet from killing John Connor before he was born by killing his mother, Sarah. In the second Terminator, then they started introducing this idea of trying to stop Skynet, of trying to stop Judgment Day. It didn't make any sense there. And even at the end of that movie, they were not sure if they had really stopped anything at the end of that movie. And Terminator 3 was the one that said, listen, we cannot stop Skynet. We cannot stop Judgment Day. It is inevitable. It is going to happen. And that's why at the end of that movie, they ended up going back into this really old 1960s terminal-filled bunker where they were just there to sit out Judgment Day because they needed John Connor. Now in Salvation, after that, well, Judgment Day has already occurred and they're in the future. So that doesn't really go against what's happening in the last three Terminators. Now in this one right here, they're trying to introduce this new protagonist because they want to start a new franchise because, let's face it here, Sarah Connor or Linda Hamilton is older and she's not going to be around for long, so you're not going to hang your hat on another 2 or 3 movies with her. You're not going to make her character a necessity, which she does survive to the end of this movie, Miss Sarah Connor there. But they're trying to do away with John and introduce this new one. And it just doesn't make sense for this franchise. And that's why a lot of people believe that this is a franchise that should never have been a franchise. Because the storyline, the basic shell of this franchise does not allow for it to have multiple iterations unless you do what they did with Terminator Salvation, which is to go into the future and deal with that aspect of it. So that way you can't kill the timeline over here. But with this one, that's exactly what they tried to do, and it made it make absolutely no sense whatsoever. It didn't. So that's the first reason. There's another reason. The second reason that I have here is that the main characters are unlikable and they are unbelievable. Now, Grace herself, she just acts like everything that she says and does is so important, and everything that everybody else says is stupid or unbelievable. It's just ridiculous. How she behaves. The fact that she does not offer up any information to these people that are there to help her. Okay? They are there to help her. Now, this is where it doesn't make sense to me again. If Danny helped Grace, or pretty much trained her, to become, and that's one thing that I've always found very weird about this franchise. John Connor and this new one, Danny, they're both giant assholes because they literally go and they know the people that they're gonna send to their death, and they train them anyway, and they do it, and they feel no remorse apparently for this. Like Danny knows when she first lays eyes on Grace, this girl right here, I'm gonna send her back to die. So it is what it is. And she looks at her with a smile like, hey, Grace, how are you, my savior? So the Grace, she says these really, really dumb things. They're just dumb. And she never gives any information to anybody. And if Danny trained her in the future or told her about what was going to happen and what she needed to do when she came back, right? Don't you think she would have told her about Sarah Connor? Said, hey, there might be this lady named Sarah Connor. You know, she's a cool chick. Let her come with us. Listen to her. Something. She doesn't. Apparently, she does not mention Sarah Connor to Grace at all in the future. She does not tell her anything. So she doesn't also tell her about Arnie. She doesn't tell her about the T-800. She doesn't tell her about that. She doesn't say anything to her about any of these these things. So when she comes back to the past, right? A past that she knows nothing about because anyway, when she comes back, she treats them with such like disrespect and disregard, like what they did and what they're like. Linda Hamilton literally, she goes through her whole resume and she says, "Is that enough of a resume for you?" And the girl's like, "No." Like, what? You're the savior? Wait, you're telling me that you and your son saved mankind? Saved 3 billion lives? Yeah, that's not enough of a resume. I need somebody who's gonna save 3.5 billion. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Of course it's enough of a resume. You fucking idiot. Excuse my language. But, like, that's how she talks to them. That's how she talks to them. She does not, Arnold Schwarzenegger asks her a question. Just a straight, logical, legit question, and she just responds with no. Like, what? Answer the goddamn question. These people are there to help you. Answer the question. She doesn't do that. Then she threatens Linda Hamilton like Linda Hamilton hasn't just spent the last, 3 decades killing Terminators. Like, that's literally what she just told you she's been doing. Killing Terminators. And you're sitting there threatening her. You don't think that Linda Hamilton can get the drop on you somehow and and destroy you? You're just an enhanced human. And you're an enhanced human that's like a cheetah. You can only go 75 miles per hour for a short amount of time, and then after that, you need to sleep for 12 hours. So what is wrong with you? Like, this girl just doesn't think. That makes her unbelievable, and it makes her super unlikable. Then she delivers this line that's so dumb, and it shows you how sexist the writer and director of this movie is. How stupid and sexist they are. She says, "You're not going to be the mother of some man." Who is the future? You are the future. Why would you assume that the next person is going to be a man? Like, why wouldn't she be giving birth to a female? Why? Why did it have to be a man? You thought that. Nobody else in that theater thought that. As a matter of fact, I really doubt that anybody that went into that theater thought that Danny wasn't the person who's gonna, they were gonna, wow, you guys are gonna completely rehash the first one? Nobody thought that. The only one who thought that was the writer and the director, and they ham-fisted that in there. They ham-fisted that in there. There was no reason why Linda Hamilton would say that. There was, it didn't make any sense. The whole thing just didn't make any sense. This whole idea, why would she think that? Whatever. If that's the way they think, then let them think that way. It is what it is. Danny should never have been the savior from the beginning because John Connor should have never left, because Skynet should have never left. This whole thing was dumb. Very dumb. And then let's just talk about let's talk about maybe why. If you want to say a why here of why somebody would not believe that Danny was the savior, it's because she doesn't look like a savior at all. She doesn't act like a savior. She's not trained like a savior. She hasn't done anything to become a savior. John Connor is trained from a young age by Sarah Connor to become a savior from a very young age. That is why he becomes the man he becomes in the future, because his mother teaches him that. That's how most men and women become who they are in the future. Their parents teach them. And then they teach them these certain guides, these certain steps, and then we kind of take it from there when we get older. And then we teach our kids that sort of stuff. But Danielle, on the other hand, she's not at all trained to be that. At the end of the movie, it looks like Sarah Connor is going to go ahead and train her. But if you want to talk about why somebody would think that she wasn't a savior, it's because at that point she really isn't the savior. She's not the person who's going to become that. But my problem with that is not that. I can let that go. That's fine. People can grow and learn. My problem is that when they flash forward to the future, she looks pretty much the same. She hasn't aged at all. She has no battle wounds, no scars. She has cornrows. But she's still a 5 foot, 120-pound girl who is fighting 6 foot men and women. And who, to me, what's kind of crazy about it is how she gets them on her side is just kind of dumb. Like, this is exactly what the machine wants us to do. It's like, come on, man. Can I get a better speech than that? It's like, there's no effort put into this movie at all. So she just doesn't, I don't connect with her as a person that is going to be the savior of mankind. But let's look at it too. If you look at Terminator 2, Edward, when they flash back to the future of where John Connor in the future, it's not Edward Furlong in the future. It's a completely different dude. He's much bigger. He has a scar coming down his face to show that he's been through some shit. Over here, nothing. Nothing. So, it is what it is. Let's see. Last reason is really simple. The main characters, these new characters in this movie, are pathetic in comparison to the original characters, the OG characters. The OG characters in this movie should have been the entire movie. They could have eliminated the new characters and just had the OG characters on a mission or journey themselves right there, Sarah Connor, on a mission to do something, and it would have been a much better movie. The movie gets dragged down by the newer characters instead of being lifted up to a new level by the characters. So this is what we really need to start doing, is stopping this franchise. It's over. They gave it a shot. Unless the next movie is going to completely eliminate Danny, and let's just say they're going to go and they're going to make a movie about Sarah Connor and raising her son from the dead. And what the hell is what's the point? You know, maybe she goes back to the original T2, because no, I don't think anybody who's watched this movie is gonna come back and say, man, I really can't wait to see what happens with Danny. There's just no connection there. There's nothing there. Grace is dead, and she was a horrible character. Carl is dead, and I really thought he was gonna give the thumbs up, and he didn't. So what's left for this franchise? I think it's this franchise and Star Wars need to both do the same thing, and it's die. Just give it up and die. You screwed up. You gave it as big of a shot as you could, and you failed. You're suspect. You're done. No more. So, Terminator Dark Fate should be the last Terminator that is ever made. Hands down. If you like this channel, if you like the content here, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. That was what's wrong with Terminator Dark Fate, according to me. If you have other things that you think are wrong with Terminator Dark Fate, or if you think that I'm wrong and everything that I said was stupid, I'm just not understanding the message, write it down in the comment section below. Have a great one, guys. Talk to you soon. And don't go watch Terminator Dark Fate. Just don't. Unless it's bootleg.